This has been an incredible day and an incredible series of events. Several months ago, I'm not sure exactly how long ago, we were going soul winning. Joe Justice went with me, first time he'd ever been. Grew up as a Southern Baptist, 70 years old, 72 I think, never been soul winning in his life, went the first time. We went down here to the apartments behind Mayfair, where I'd been kicked out of before, and again yesterday, and that's okay. But at any rate, we had made a few visits, passed some tracts out, had some good visits, and then we started to another part of the apartments there. And a young fellow was coming across the parking lot, had a beautiful dog with him. And as I walked up to him, I said, "Hey," and he said, "Hey." He said, I had a sport coat on, and he said, "Are you religious people?" Now, to a fundamentalist, that's a slap in the face, right, Brother Terry? And I said, "Well, yeah, I guess so." And he said, "Can you tell me how to get to God?" I looked at him and I said, "I'm your man. I am your man." So I went through Romans Road with him. After I went through Romans Road, I said to him, "Wade," I said, "would you like to..." He said, in that process, he said, "This last week," he said, "I was laying out here in a parking lot. I had a heart attack. I couldn't holler. I couldn't do anything. My dog went to barking and barking. And finally, somebody came to see what was going on. And so he said, 'Are you okay?' And I nodded my head no. And he said they called an ambulance, got me to the hospital. And eventually, I think they put a pacemaker in. Not positive of that. Anyway, he had a heart attack. 22 years old, I think. And so he said, 'Can you tell me how to get to God?' He said, 'All week I've been trying to figure out how to get to God.' I said, 'I'm your man.' Took him down Romans Road. I said, 'Would you like to kneel right here? Would you like to pray with me and ask Jesus in your heart?' He said, 'I would.' I said, 'Well, how about if we kneel right here, right in the parking lot here and pray?' And he said, 'Yes, that'd be great.' And I said, 'Well, here's what we're going to pray. We're going to pray, "Dear Jesus, I know I'm a sinner. I ask you to forgive me of my sin nature. Come into my heart and save my soul." Does that sound right to you, Wade? He said, "It sure does." So we prayed. We're kneeling there. Joe's got a bad knee. He couldn't kneel down. He wanted a part of it. I had my Bible. He had his hand on my Bible. I had my hand on his hand. And poor old Joe's all kneeled over, getting his hand on it. He wants some of that too. Amen. And so we prayed. It was precious. And so he got saved. So he promised to come to church a few weeks. He hadn't come for a few weeks. And finally he showed up and went to Sunday school, went out to dinner, Brother Joe and Preacher and I and Steve, I think. Anyway, and so he started came to Sunday school several times, brought his girlfriend, and he talked about getting baptized. It was really, really precious. So then, like a lot of times, he kind of fell off the edge, didn't hear from him. I texted him and didn't hear from him, kept texting him every week or so and a couple of weeks. And then finally, he texted me that he'd had pneumonia, been in the hospital. And so then I encouraged him to get back in church. He was going to come one Wednesday night, and he didn't show. And then last Saturday, I texted him, told him I was teaching Sunday school, and wanted to encourage him to get here. I taught on eternal security. Now, for you North Carolina folks, that means I learned you on it. Amen. So, and at any rate, last Saturday, he had a car wreck, hurt his head really bad. He was in the hospital. Got out of the hospital, went back to work. He works as a cook somewhere, and then he wasn't feeling really good. So Thursday, he told his girlfriend, and some of you met her. He said, "I'm feeling better today than I've felt in a long time." That was this Thursday. And so she went off to work. She's a waitress. And so they talked to each other a couple times on Thursday. And then she came home and found him dead, 23 years old. So on Friday evening, I got a voice message from his dad out in Tabor City. And so I called. He said, "Are you John Correll?" And yes, sir. "Did you talk to my son about the Lord?" Yes. And I asked him. I said, "Jamie," his dad's name is Jamie. I said, "Are you saved?" Yes, sir, I am. Are you born again, Jamie? Yes, I am. And I said, well, then let me tell you exactly what happened. He said, wait a minute, I want to get my wife and my daughter. I want them to hear this. And then he said, first of all, we're going to have a memorial service at 3 o'clock at our house on Sunday afternoon. Would you come and do that memorial service for us? And I said, I'd be honored. So then I went through the whole thing, told them about him getting saved and all the rest, you know. So this afternoon, Kathy and Joe and I went out to Tabor City. I spent some time, prepared a message. I used Acts 16. You know, he said, can you tell me how to get to God? Oh, yeah. And I used Acts 16, which in it says, sirs, what must I do to be saved? Amen? I mean, just like sir, what must I do to be saved? It was wonderful, you know. 47 years I've been sober, and the first time I ever had a guy come up to me and say, sir, what must I do to be saved? It was really good. And then I also used Psalm 61 about God's high tower and how God guided him through all that. Anyway, so we went out there this afternoon, and I figured, you know, there'd be 6 or 7 people in the living room, right? There are 100 people at least. You think so, Joe? 100 people outside waiting for us. And so we preached that service, and I went through the gospel. I had everybody pray. I went through the whole thing, told everything like I did with you a minute ago about him getting saved, and it was incredible. I mean, it was just incredible. And then, you know, I had everybody, I twice went through the plan of salvation with them, and then I had everybody bow their heads and close their eyes and explain the sinner's prayer. Went through the sinner's prayer a second time. While I was preaching, I had Joe and Kathy pass out our gospel tract to everyone. And so I don't know who got saved, but I had a preacher come up to me after I got through, Pastor Raleigh, and he said, that was a great message. He said, it's hard to know how many people got saved this afternoon. The icing on the cake was the preciousness of a fellow he worked with at a restaurant here in town, and they had a few minutes for people to give testimonies about this fellow, Wade Sumner. And the fellow said, he said, Wade was the guy that we needed anybody to stay over and work. He was always willing, no matter how tired he was, he would stay and work. And so he got saved, and he started telling everybody about it, and he's so excited and all the rest. And so it was all good. And I said, and so he told everybody that, you know, how wonderful it was about his discussions with Wade. So as we were walking out, I said to this fellow's name's Alec. I said, Alec, I said, are you saved? He said, yes, I am. I said, well, I said, when did you get saved? He said, Wade and I'd have discussions all the time at work and after work. And he said, I said, well, when did he lead you to the Lord? And he said, yeah. And I went, well, glory. That's what it's about, preacher. We're supposed to get them saved and get them to get somebody else to get saved, and that's what it's all about. What a joy. This has been an incredible day. Amen. God bless you, Brother Terry. Glad you're here. Amen.
Mansions will glisten on the hills of glory. Happy reunions on streets of gold. Angel choirs singing glad praises forever. But Jesus will outshine them all. Oh, Jesus will outshine them all. Oh, what glory awaits me in heaven's bright city. When I get there, such sights I'll behold. The million scenes of rare beauty will demand that I view them. Still Jesus will outshine them all. Mansions will glisten on the hills of glory. Happy reunions on streets of gold. Angel choirs sing that praises forever. But Jesus will outshine them all. Oh yes, Jesus will outshine them all.
The sparkling river is flowing, happy faces all glowing, land of splendor where night never falls. The golden glass gives reflection to that city's perfection. Still Jesus will outshine them all.